Welcome, everyone, to an Educators in VR event. This is our world building team. We have a special guest speaker today. We have Niko is here. And before we get to that, I just want to tell you a little bit about Educators in VR. Educators in VR was formed here in Altspace in 2018 with a goal to help schools, businesses, students, researchers, etc., integrate XR technology, specifically VR, but others, into their business and into their life and into their schools and classrooms and so on. We have been phenomenally successful with over 4,000 members. We have an active Discord, Facebook group. Our Twitter is blacked out right now for obvious reasons. And we're going to be adding Mastodon and a few other social media reaches as well due to the issues going on with Twitter. So get ready for that. But the AltspaceVR is our home base. We host over 800 VR events, free and paid, every year. Largest group of any other group in the world. We are also available for hire as consultants, trainers. We do a lot of training, and we work with, we work with schools, universities, businesses, etc., around the world to help integrate immersive technology, help to with deployment, with setting up, choosing headsets and setting up labs, etc. So if you are interested, please let us know. We support over 25 special interest groups. Here we call them teams. They're listed over on the other side of Niko. There's just a few of them there. And this one is our world building group, where we tour worlds here in Altspace, sometimes other platforms, and we talk about world building and helping to push your world building skills with Unity and whatever forward. And today we're here with Niko. Now, Niko, how many of you know Niko? Give me some hearts. Niko, I think I want to let them tell you to tell them about the great award that your group has just won. Want that honor?
Yeah, we just won the Cannes Award, the VRium team. It was the word Nymphs. Some of you may know it. We participated last year on the Rain Dance immersive award and won there for the Nymphs project and the ArtSpace tour. This year we just applied with the same word to the Cannes, and they also gave us an award. And there will be like an annual award, I think, next year, where like over 12, like for each month, we will participate there and maybe have a chance to win that big one. I don't know yet.
We'll see. Well, it's the Cannes World Film Festival for Best Virtual Reality Short. So that is quite the accomplishment for Niko and Shushu and all the people from VRium. So we very, very proud, very excited. Congratulations on that amazing win. Now, what we know about you, Niko, is that you are not only an expert world builder, but when it comes to shaders, you have mastered them as an art form. And so we're really excited about this. So it's all you. Niko, go for it. All you.
Yeah, so I will talk a bit about shaders today. And some of you may know my new gallery, the AI art gallery. I'm using Midjourney to generate tileable images there, and I just started with something really simple like 8 weeks ago. Some of you may know the really old, but this was really chaotic. It just started as a workspace for me, some a few shaders, and I will show the first shaders I did today and how you also can do that in Amplify or Shader Graph. So I will give a short Unity tutorial. And after that, we will go to the world, and from there we just make a tour, and you can see like how they can evolve into more complex shaders and other effects. Okay, so just a really basic overview of shaders. There are two ways to do shaders. Or there are three ways to do shaders in Unity. Like number one is just program them by hand. That's kind of complicated. I wouldn't really recommend that. And there are two other ways to do it. There's Shader Graph on the left. That's a free tool that's integrated into Unity. I will show you how you set up a shader with Shader Graph. And there's also Amplify Shader. I'm really using Amplify a lot. For me, it's for many functions, it's easier to use, and but it costs some money. You get it in the asset store. At the moment, I saw today it's reduced a bit. It's like 39 euros, I think. It was 39. Yeah, and so if you're interested in the shader, I would recommend the tool, but you can do it in the shader graph. Okay, then let's go to Unity. Yeah, I hope you can see everything here. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so I made a picture here, a tileable image in Midjourney, or 3 tileable images in Midjourney. I just typed in educators in VR or educators in virtual reality. So you have like a teacher with a VR headset in a classroom here, and it's a tileable image. So you can repeat it like how much as you want in each direction. You will see that. And it's actually a really powerful tool to do it, because like doing it by hand take a lot of time to make them tileable. You usually have tileable textures, but images is really rare, and being able to AI generate it is really powerful. So what I did is I have like 3 elements here, and I start with the first element. I will just set up a new material, name it test1, and place it here. And on the right side here, you have the standard shader, like a lit shader. And when I place that base map here, you will see that image here. That's a standard shader. You don't really have a lot of control over all the functions here. You have like metallic, you have smoothness. You can apply an emissive map and make it whiter. Do it like that. Here's the emissive map now. And that's it. Like, you don't really have a lot of control. You can tile it. You see the repetition here, but you can't animate it. So I like rarely use my like a lit shader, like the standard shaders. I like to do my own shaders. So what you can do in Unity without any plugins, you can right click, create, go to shader, name universal render pipeline, and unlit shader graph. So I just name it test1. And you double click on it, and you will get into that view here. That's the shader graph. So what you will see on the right side here, you have the vertex shader and the fragment shader. The fragment is for the color. I'm using an unlit shader, so there is no smoothness. It's just a shader without any lighting. It's the most basic shader we have. If you would have a like more complex shader, we'll get more options here. So base color. To use it, you can just create nodes here. So you have this input node into the fragment shader, and you can create a node, and I would say just do a color. For example, type in color. Output. So you can input the output of the color into the base node here, and you can save the asset. And when I go back here and go to the material, you know there's a shader section here, and you can go into shader graphs and test1 shader we just did. It's just black. When I go back in here, I can make a red color. Save it. I go back, you will see it's red. You can't really do a lot with that shader right now. It's just a really basic red shader. So the next step is using a texture. So I right click again, do a node, and it would be texture. I can delete that color node here. We don't need it anymore. And I will input that RGB values into the base color. So you will see that result. But we don't have a texture yet. So what we need is a texture input. And we can do it by doing a new variable here and doing a texture. And that would be just image image 1. You can drag and drop it here. So you will have that texture here. Okay, I can save it again. And then here you will see you have that new element, the texture input. I type it here and you have the texture again. In the next step, I wanted to animate it. So I'm going into the shader again. And there's a function in shader graph called offset, tiling and offset. I'm going in here. And I'm connecting the output of the tiling and offset. It's for the UV map. So basically, when you animate something like animate textures, you always animate the UV texture or the UV coordinates. And when we save it, it wouldn't really change anything because there's like a tiling of 1, 1, so it's not repeated, and just an offset by 0. So if you want to animate the offset, we can create a new node. I will just do it with a time node now. It's probably the easiest way to do it. I just do the time and then just, I have to do a vector first. Create node. So here, like you can see the input here is X and Y. So there are 2 directions for the animations. And that's a vector here. And I can connect the time into these 2 X and Y coordinates and connect it with offset here. So what will happen when I save it is that the image is animated. It's really fast now. But that's basically what I did here. I can make it slower just by multiplying this element here by, let's say, 0.1. Output it again. So you have a connection here. Saving it, and it will be much slower now. And you see it's repeatable, so you don't really see like it's like the teacher here is hanging in the air and the classroom is repeating. I can also use other images, so this would be another image, or this one. So that was actually the first shader I did here. And then I thought, okay, what I can do with it. I want to go to amplify now because it's easier and it's quicker to do. And you will see the difference how it's used. So that was shader graph here. I will do a new amplify shader. So I create a new shader. So that's what will happen when you have amplify installed. So you go to universal and unlit. Waiting. Hoping it doesn't crash. And okay. There's this new shader now. I'm used to having multiple screens for all the windows here, so it's really small window here, but okay. So it's named test2. So I will also create the material for that. And on the material, I will select the test2 shader. Okay, it's also an unlit shader, so it's basically the same. It's opaque. It doesn't have any transparency. And I will do the same here. So I will do a texture sample. It's a bit easier here because I don't have to define the variable first. So I just have a texture sample here. I name it image 1. Connect it to color. And on the UV, I will use the texture coordinates node, and also I can select the image here. So it's the coordinates for the image. And there's another function here, and I didn't find that in shader graph. It's used Panna. called Penna, and typing in the UVs, and I can define, like I can input a speed into that Penna. So I will do a vector, like X and Y coordinates, and I will input it into speed. And I say it probably means it's a variable, and then speed 1. I save it. Apply the material here and input the image again. And you will see here, I have a speed. I can set up the speed here. So I can just by changing that element here, I can actually define the speed here of the movement. So I can 0.1, it's going into this direction faster. Yeah. And I continued with something, and I just copied that section here, image 1, and just copy paste. So I have image 2, also selected here, and name that speed 2. Copy it again, and I name it image 3, and set it here. I zoom in a bit, maybe it's not that easy to read for you. So I have nodes here, same nodes, but I just name it 1, 2, and 3. And when I want to connect it now to the node here, because I can just connect one node to, I can't do this, just replace it. But what I can do is adding all the layers. So there's an add node. It will just add all these 3 nodes here into one panel. And when I save it, first I have to choose the images here. So I have image 1, image 2, and image 3. And now you can see I can animate these 3 images into different directions. Just type in random numbers here. But that's a lot of fine tuning you can do when you do your own shaders. Like it's just a lot of like doing all the variables here and then trying to optimize it somehow. Okay, making it a bit slower here. You can see it's a bit too bright now, and how it can be fixed is you just multiply that node, because when you have like white here and you add something, like it's even brighter. But I can add a multiply node here and maybe multiply it by, I can input something, value. Just name it multiply now. Multiply just means you make brighter or less bright. So you will see it has to be a property. Can kind of fine tune it here. I also played around with like even more blending modes to get a better contrast between the different images. We'll see all the images later. And like the next step would be a parallax shader. So if you really want a 3D effect on that, there's a really cool node in Amplify that's called parallax. It's also possible in shader graph, but I actually don't know how to do it in shader graph. If I do that, so I'm naming it test 3 here. So I just copied the shader, naming it test 3. I'm opening the shader here, also test 3, and set up another material. and inputting the images again. It's the same, animating it. Good. And now I can show how this parallax node works. It's called parallax. Parallax offset. Yeah, parallax mapping. So I can just connect the parallax node here, and I have to input the view direction. You can see the view here tangent. So that's something that has to be input into the shader here. Just have to know, once you know it, it's not a really big issue. And then I do the variable for scale here. So name it scale 1, and you can test it. Can't really see it on the stream here, but I will just show it. You will see that it's like going outside the image or inside the image. So when I actually move here, you will see it's a 3D effect. I just did it for that one element, the first one. You can also apply that, of course, to the other ones. Yeah, that's what I did with my shaders. Yeah, so that was the first shaders I did, and that is like the gallery we will see at the moment. That's the world. You see that shader here? It's basically the same we just did here. The scrolling shaders and then the parallax shader here. And I think we can, if you have any question now, you can ask it. The next ones will be we'll just talk about it in the next word.
Okay. I was taking pictures and having way too much fun watching all of this and stuff. So this is amazing. I love this. This is beautiful. All right, we have several questions, and then we'll also be taking questions in the world when we get into it in a few minutes. So first up, Keely, another master builder. Keely.
Hi, thanks. Yeah, like LOL was saying, I've done some alt space building, but I've only barely tipped my toes into shaders, and one of the reasons for that is I get kind of overwhelmed. Like you were like, oh, you add this and you add that, and I think that's so amazing that you know that. And thanks for sharing that. But do you have any tips for people kind of getting started? Like, how do we layer things? How do you go about maybe creating lava or something like that? Any advice so it's not so overwhelming?
Yeah, if you don't want to have it too overwhelming, don't start with lava, because it will probably get really complicated really fast. I think this is actually one of the more simple examples. So try to really start with something like setting up an image and try to animate that image. Go from really easy task, or just input a color so you get a feeling how these nodes work and how you connect it. Don't start with something, I want to do a lava, I want to do water now. It's much easier if you start with something even much simpler, just a color, or even just adding 2 colors, really simple. And maybe you can go step by step in learning all the nodes, and you will get a feeling how to use them.
Okay, thank you.
Good. It's good advice for everything. Start slowly. I love it. All right. Uh, Google Hertz, you are up. Google Hertz.
Hi. Yes,
Hey, there you go.
I was wondering what resolution images you tend to use for the textures.
So for it really depends. So it's actually a good question because the AI method here has a really huge advantage in that size. When I do a skybox, for example, I'm usually using 8K for a complete skybox, because when I look 4K, sometimes it's good, but usually it's getting really blurry. For this method here, it's actually cool because you can tile the images. So you can have a bigger image with smaller file size because you can repeat it. For example, I have like a panorama in the next gallery, and I just use a 2K image, but have it repeated 4 times. So it's basically in the end it's an 8K image, but I'm just using a 2K image as an input. You can also do it with 1K when it's just small objects, but that's usually the size I have, and that makes it really small. If you 8K image and uploaded, it's like 10 megabyte already. And if you do the 2K image, you're at like not even a megabyte. So it's really a big, huge difference between the file sizes, and get basically the same quality, just a bit more repetition. You will see it in the next word, but I'm trying to get like a 2K image, 4K maybe.
Thanks.
Beautiful. Thank you. All right, Ubi, hello again. You made it in.
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Niko, is this like somebody said here, it's kind of a little bit too much to absorb in this little quick lesson per se? Is this going to be like recorded and uploaded something, or perhaps do you
Yes.
have a
Yes, this has
YouTube
been filmed.
channel?
The
Okay,
event
and
is
it's
being
going to be
filmed.
uploaded on YouTube so we can reference it later,
Yes. Yes, it'll be
step by
listed in the
step.
Educators
Okay,
in VR channel and social media when it's up. Yep.
okay, thank you. That's all.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Just try to repeat it and just do it and play around with the notes and how they behave. I think you will get it.
Yeah. Stephanie, your turn.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Like I don't know how to translate in English. Yeah. Like I understood from you that if I now use normal materials in my projects, but if I turn the textures I make it in the background shade, then the cost is lower for the computer, or how can I, what, so if I use normal lit shader and I throw some textures on an object and then throw it into Altspace, then you get a certain amount of bit rate. But if I make that lit shader into that lit shader from Unity into my own shader, like with only a bump map and a color map, is it then more? Is that more performance?
It
Or
depends.
doesn't?
So if you use like a lit shader in Amplify, it shouldn't be much more performant. But shaders in general are extremely performant, even on Quest devices, especially Quest devices. Like I have if you do something with shaders and just use a really simple shape for that, the whole world you will see basically using planes and spheres. And it's not a lot of polygons. I'm not using any real-time lighting. The Quest is really bad at real-time lighting. So if you do complex models with a lot of real-time lighting, you're using more performance than you would do like these effects with shaders.
Oh yeah.
So I'm trying to do lots of effects with just with shaders without many layers and meshes, and you will get it much more performance. So actually, that world over there has really like high quality images, but usually you have like 70 FPS there on Quest, and it's like just because I don't use any real time lighting, I don't use any complex meshes.
Yes.
More things, more effects with just shaders like will save you a lot of performance even for Quest. And that's actually probably the most powerful tool you have for the Quest at the moment. That's why I'm wondering that even big companies like Meta don't allow anything. Like they want to have 5 frame rate and all that. And you can do it for you can do it with shaders. You can also do a lot with shaders that affect performance a lot. But for just some image blending and some basic animations of the images, it's extremely performant.
Okay. Yeah. I now understand. Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
It's wonderful. Anyone else have a last chance for questions before we head into the world to actually see this all in process? I think of the shader. I think of building with Unity in general as eating an elephant. You know, still takes one bite at a time. All right, Dr. Paradise.
Thanks for sharing, Niko. I'm sure everybody really appreciates it. My question was just about the composition functions. You demonstrated using add with a follow-up multiplier, but are there the other? I think you mentioned that there are other ones, like you might see in Photoshop or video mixers.
I can just make a really short. Can just go really quick into Unity again. So when you are, I can just say it for Amplify right now. So you see it here. There is a node called Blend Mode, Blend Operations. It's this, and they actually have color burn and all that stuff you know from Unity. Okay, you can't see the dropdown as here. It's not displayed, but you have a parameter here, and you have color burn, and you have exclusion, soft light, and all that. I'm not sure if you can see it here. And then you have like a source and a destiny. Source would be, in this case, you have image. You blend like destiny would be the image, and maybe you have a color. You just type in a color here, maybe red, and you would do a soft blend on that image.
Does it, if you open up the panel, does it show all the options?
Yes, it does. So there's a drop down here. So the parameters, but you can't see it. It's not displayed here because I grabbed the window and doesn't show the drop down. But you have color burn, color dodge, darken, divide, difference, and all that stuff you have in multiply, overlay, all that stuff you have in Photoshop.
Perfect. Thanks.
Now, as a reminder, you're seeing a demonstration of not only the power of what you can do is really good. Think of that as a part of your toolkit, because that ability to grab some of these dialog boxes and things and move them off the screen so you have constant access to them really improves your workflow. So just as an added point here. All right, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say on that, Niko?
Yeah, I'm using many screens and many different tools and all the different screens. Yeah.
Okay, how many monitors do you have?
I have 4.
4. Okay. I just switched from 4 to 2, but one is a 49-inch, the Samsung G9 curved. Trust me.
The big one. Yeah, I also want to have like a really big one, and
no, yeah. There's
3.
not the monster one. I didn't go the monster one, but I got the second monster one because right after they've released a new one that's even bigger, but the 49-inch is really sweet. And I can't tell you, it's increased productivity tremendously. So when you're thinking about, if you're serious about world building, you're serious about doing this, all of this stuff, the hardware that you use around you is as important as the software. It really is. You know, and make sure you get an ergonomic seat for that precious buns of yours so that you can sit without cutting off their whatnot. Sure. All the time sitting. That's right, Niko?
Yep.
Yep. All right. Are we ready to go check out your world?
Here we are.
You ready? All right. So we're going to open. Is there anything you want to tell us before we go in?
It's a big word, so we'll wait maybe even up to 5 minutes. I don't know. Yeah, we'll talk over there. You will see the first shaders. Okay. You will recognize them. Then we'll go from shader to shader and explore the world.
All right. So patience on entering. If you have slow bandwidth and slow internet, a part of our team is going to stay behind to help. But just know the world is limited to 30 people. So if you can't get in, keep trying. All right. See you there.
But you were fast. Like, did you already know
I
something?
know. Well, I think I don't remember, but I have new internet. But I need host
Oh.
because I can't amplify my voice.
I got Lens amplify voice. I could also give you amplify voice, but I could also give you host.
Well, host is whatever it is allow me to amplify. All right, yay, Karen, you made it in.
I made it in.
Yeah.
Niko, that was wonderful. Thank you for presenting that to us. That was really wonderful. Very well explained.
Okay, everybody stay in close.
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
So okay, you have host if you want to re-enter, or maybe don't re-enter because you will not get in again.
I
maybe.
will.
I will just give you a megaphone, but Lance can also give you.
Hey, Elena, I haven't seen you ages. How are you?
Hi, Matthew.
Oh, it's good to see you.
Okay. Oh, many people here now. That was basically the full explanation, yeah? There's not much more to the parallax shader. Yeah. An amplifier at least. Like you can see a map here, and on that map you will see a lot of dots, and that's all us. So you will actually see all the people here in that world. And you see that actually some people are already running around here.
I can hear it in your throat. Yeah, it's just a little bit that's still left. Like 2 days ago was the worst day, so now it's much, much better. Good, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. I keep muting myself because sometimes I cough.
Okay. Alright.
I wish we could do better
real
than
life, right? Many people.
I know. Mute. But the other day, I was sneezing nonstop, and I was trying to help.
Should let everyone
my
know
wife
it is
who had
still
an
being
emergency.
recorded even in this
And
world
she
too.
was
So if
like,
anyone
"Oh,
has any private
oh,
conversations,
we
go
should come
somewhere
up
else
with
further
time
away
for
from stands with trees.
flu and everything else. Yeah. Viruses and
I know.
the whole bit. Hey, Lance.
Okay, I don't have a way of amplifying my voice yet. We're working on that. So, but I want to make sure that we travel together. So Niko will be amplified. Lance will also be amplified.
I will give amplifier. I thought I gave you
There.
host, but
Okay, there. Beautiful.
You got
Okay, thank
amplified.
you. Thank you. All right, great. Thank you. So thank you all for being here, and Niko, thank you. You want to start telling us about the world? We're ready.
Yeah, so this is a shader gallery. We'll start with the same shaders here it's already know now. And just when you see over here that map, you will see all the people going around here. Probably not when we are not at the map here, but you actually see some dots here. That's all people going around. I made a recording a week ago, like a time lapse of all the people here. It's actually really interesting to see how people behave in that VR environment, how they move here. Maybe you will actually see that small dot down here in the galaxy section. Actually, avatar here going around. So let's go into the tunnel here. So we are at that place. You see it's going into the fog here. That's that place that we go inside. So here I see a scrolling shader. It's the first one I did. It's just a different image. The AI is really good at just generating similar images on that side. And on the other side, it's the edge shader here. So I just added the different elements.
Yeah, that's the cool part about it.
And the next one here I actually use different blending modes and I have the parallax shader. So it's 3D effect. I'm using a different blending mode on that side.
I have to make lasers something.
And yeah, that was the first thought, and I wanted to try a few elements. I just went step by step here. So here I used clouds as a texture, different music also. And you will see that in the background the skybox will change now outside the tunnel also when you just go deeper here. the skybox is also changing. When you look outside the window here, you will see that it's using the same texture and it's also animated. That's a more complex shader, so it's actually a projection of the texture into the skybox. And when you go into these cylinders here, there are 2 cylinders, and when you go inside them, you will stand in that skybox animated. Yeah. It's a parallax. So the parallax, the parallax is really doing a 3D effect.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Ja, het is mooi.
Zo leuk.
Alleen amplifier.
Very cool.
Simpele manier toch?
So Niko, the question is,
Ja, maar
how,
als het met
how
Amplify
do we,
kan,
and please remember this is being filmed, so if you're talking to each
I
other,
say that.
this event is still being
Right.
filmed. So if you're near stands of trees in green, just be aware he's recording everything you say. Now, Niko, skybox, people keep asking.
The skybox is also a shader I did in Amplify. It's a bit more complicated to do it, but it's basically a projection. You recalculation that you input into the images to get the skybox. The shader itself is extremely big. I didn't want to do it today. It would be a lot. But there are tutorials on YouTube that actually explains that how to do it.
But it's still another shader effect, right?
Yes, it's more nodes. So it would be the same tool, but it would be a lot more UV nodes and lot more calculations, more like trigonometry, and so you can calculate a lot of shaders. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Dan hoef je alleen maar bakelid te gebruiken voor het mooie.
So you can go deeper into the tunnel. You also see that the sky changing again, and now we are going into this zone here.
ook dat.
I was trying like more abstract shapes and darker.
Did you bake the red light?
Yes, I was light. Not real time, it's just bake lighting. You can use also the images on shaders for light baking. It's possible, yeah. But it has to be it doesn't work with unlit shaders. It only works with like lit shaders. But you can use amplified shaders for that. It's not animated because it's just a baked light map, but you can do it. I also did it with the sky boxes here. So it's doing the color here.
Yeah, but
okay, when you go to the tunnel here, Masha, you will see you will see all the dots here on the. Here's also a map over here. You see it, all people going around here. Yeah. So we are in that AI world now. So we're not in that days before. We are in the AI world, and therefore there are 3 sections here. There's this blue section with the panorama bubbles. There's a yellow section. The pyramid is for materials. I'm currently working on that one, and there's the violet version over there. That's a small cube. It's for effects and tunnels. We'll start with the blue section, the panoramas. And just teleport over here and enter that sphere. So it's also based on parallax shaders here. Everything is based on the parallax shaders and different layers. So when you just go from image to image here and just hear the music and then look at the sceneries, you will find some details.
you can make it your sandbox. Yeah, absolutely.
Je
Amazing.
rook ook, hè? Dat is echt een vet. Je kunt gewoon rook maken. Je kunt gewoon een mooie disco maken met een soort van licht. Deze.
And these are also the elements where I use a 2K image. So each of them has just have a 2K image. So it's quite small.
Very cool.
Five.
He's changed a lot since we were here.
So in some of the shaders you will see some movement inside the texture. There I'm using a even more complex technique using calling flow maps. And the flow maps actually can create like motion in different directions of the same image. You will see that here, like in that shader, but also in the Van Gogh image, you will see that like that movement of the sky. It's the same. Yeah, there are particles in here. So it's some of the particles I'm using, but it's the same shader. Like not the same, I'm doing some shader variations here, some small ones to experiment with it. But it's all basically AI generated images, so it's really quick to set up also because you just type in some words into the AI and you get back an image. And,
Yeah.
So, question.
that's-
I love the sphere with like the face, like art. Was that with one image with the parallax, or was it multiple images? It's just I loved how it layered.
So the layers, so I'm using a smoke layers here, for example, and smoke layer is this texture that I'm blending over the other ones. It's also, I think it's 2K image, the smoke. So we have two images here, but it's always about the 3 layers in here.
Okay, so the one with like the faces, that was like 3 layers then?
Yeah, I'm using the alpha channel for each layer to get the 3D effect. Also for the Van Gogh image.
Oh, but it's still one image generated by the AI?
Yeah, I just had to cut it
That's
out
so
in Photoshop.
cool. I'm a big fan of Midjourney too, so I love this. Thanks.
Which AI generators were you using?
Primarily Midjourney.
Okay, Midjourney, sweet.
No video.
Just
Just static images. Yeah, just static images I'm animating inside the shader. All based on the same techniques I showed before. It's all just animating and offsetting.
Hey, Niko, you are not amplified. Make sure you amplify yourself.
Yeah, you could also like it's moved a sphere here, but you can use it as an aquarium object, for example, in the world or whatever. There's so many ways to use it.
Cool.
11.
Rainforest
Niko.
here, yeah. Yeah.
Are you using stereo sound or is it mono sound in locations?
I'm setting the spread to 180 degrees for the music here, so I'm getting the original 3D sound from the sound file. I'm not really using a lot of spatial, like with no spread you will get spatial audio, but I'm spreading it, music. Yeah.
Okay, we're getting a couple of questions if these spheres could be used as skyboxes.
Yeah. I don't see a reason why not.
Yeah, just blow them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Well, we're getting another
Good.
question. Some people want to know, how did you add the rain in this one that's right here?
The rain is also just a rain texture basically, and I'm animating it. It's not a particle, it's just 2 layers with rain texture going down here, animating into that direction and repeating all the time.
Nice.
Back to that the sound effects. You said you're going, moving it from 2D to 3D sound, right?
Yeah,
3D
it's just
spatial
3D sound.
and then
Yes, but the spread, the spread is the important part, because the 3D audio inside the file, the original file, you can only hear that when you spread the audio by 180 degrees.
and how is
Or
that
it will be
done by?
spatial audio. Yeah.
So below that is a spatial audio bar that you can just go back and forth, adjust it.
It's called spread. Yeah.
Spread.
180
Spread.
degrees.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Okay, that's the secret. That's the secret sauce. So you could have a stereo area in a certain location and multiple ones, not just one.
Exactly,
Okay,
and
that's-
it can still have a fall off. So there's a fall off and there's a spread. If you have the fall off, it will stop being there. It must be a 3D sound. You have a fall off, and the spread is to get the 3D effect when you're inside the music.
Okay, that's what I
When you're
want.
inside that bubble. Yeah.
Yeah, good. That will correct, fix something I already figured out. That will actually make it better than I want to do. Okay, thank you.
So one of my favorites is that one over here, the Van Gogh. You have the flow map, yeah, you have the animated sky, you have the different layers, so yeah. It looks like a painting.
He's painting and you're in the painting. Like you're a blob.
Yeah, the animations here are beautiful.
So this one's
Again? It's all variables inside the material. Yeah, I have the depth of the parallax layers as an input into the materials.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Look at the other ones, and then I have one secret one, the time machine up there. I can also go into this one, so there's like more here. And if you want, you can go into the time machine. It's over here. Let's go slowly into it.
Okay, wow.
Don't you like the sound effects, Karen?
Very
Not
I know.
just how
Yeah, in Midjourney there's a function called tile. It's only working for version 3 of Midjourney
Maar ja,
at the moment. Minus
hooked on the form.
TILE.
Okay. Tile. I'll look into that. I've just been on
Yeah.
version 4, so I'll look into 3.
Yeah. I hope version 4
a significant difference, especially with animals.
Yeah, there are many things. Before it's a lot better at many elements, but it's not better at like hideable images.
Yeah. But I like how they keep updating, so
Niko,
hopefully.
you're not
Yeah,
amplified
they do.
again. Should you amplify
Yeah.
yourself again?
Yeah. So yeah, that was the panorama section. I think we can meet in a few minutes in the center again and go to the next part. So we'll meet at the statue in the center,
Rustig.
the AI statue.
Tot rustig.
Ja, ik ga echt. Maar niet te doen.
And if you go to the map here, you'll see all the
I do want to let everyone know that the event will be ending in 3 minutes, and once the 3 minutes is up, we will be stopping our filming. Just letting everyone know.
But
The
we'll
event
still
will
like
continue
we'll still
as long as you
continue,
pay.
yeah. I still see some people in the panorama section here. Yeah. So for the map, I'm using a camera in that world here that only films one specific layer, and the avatars have an item attached that has that like a gradient. I'm just filming it and mapping it to the shader here.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sometimes in my headset in development mode. I'm usually doing it 2D, but I have a Quest Pro, so I have one. Yeah, especially for testing. But actually, this world here, I like many weeks I didn't even see it in VR, so I was kind of surprised when I saw it in 2D and in 3D. Yeah. Oh yeah, especially like when you have high contrast and like lots of black here. On the Quest Pro, it looks a lot better than Quest 2. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the next section. It's the tunnel section over there, radial shader section. And here I'm using radial shaders to create some effects. They are also just AI generated images here. And you can also go inside the images and you will be in a tunnel. If you are motion sick really fast, you should be careful. So I'm working on the last part here, so when you are beyond the tunnels and through the space. That's one section I still want to do here. I will like just follow the exit line and get back.